Things happen and things break. Sometimes it breaks so much you need to replace things. But what happens when you have no parts in stock? Receiving parts and materials can be an endless loop of waiting and false hope. Today's forecast is sunny with zero chance of parts.
Hey, Six, what's the longest ongoing joke when it comes to parts in the aviation community?
Oh, gee, MVP. That would be parts where they tell me, "Oh, it's on the way," or
Yeah,
"It's on tonight's truck." There it is.
it's on tonight's truck. On tonight's truck. The biggest joke in aviation parts.
Oh my God!
So much so that they say they even send you an email with the manifest because you don't believe them anymore. You've heard that joke so much that it's lost its potency, but they still, time after time, tell you the same thing every day. Well, usually they wake up from their nap and then respond with, "Oh yeah, it's on the truck.
It's on the truck. It's on the truck, man."
You're like, "I don't believe you. Prove it to me." And they send you the manifest. Okay, let me look at the manifest. How about that? It does show it on the manifest. Great. I should be expecting this part in about 4 hours. Cut to that SpongeBob. 4 hours later.
It was not here.
Voice.
It's not here.
Yeah. And like, cool. Hey, parts control. Where's my parts? I didn't make it on the truck. How the fuck?
How is it on the manifest and it's not in the damn truck?
Who's checking this paperwork? Or the other side of it, which is better, but still kind of messed up. It did make it on the truck, but nobody was tracking it.
Oh.
So it made it on the truck, and you find it out, but then because it wasn't on the manifest, they sent it back to its original location.
Right?
Oh, I don't know how this made it here. And they take it back home.
What the hell?
No.
What the hell is this for? Whatever, Chuck. Chuck deuces by. So I remember a time, MVP, that there used to be like just a blizzard of parts. Like this is probably like the early thousands when the military industrial complex was at its all-time greatest. This is when millionaires, billionaires felt it was the coolest thing in the world to buy planes. They made music videos, rap videos of guys dancing on planes,
Yep.
Stuff like that. So you can almost like break anything and you'll get a part the next day. There was a time where I break a rubber pad off something and I can order a whole new aircraft because of it.
Yeah, they had so many parts in stock. I know for me, probably one of the craziest things is we smashed a Canada Goose with the windscreen of a G4, Gulfstream G4.
Ooh.
And within 6 hours, I had a replacement whole windscreen.
Yeah, a replacement G4?
I wish I got that kind of money.
What's the part number for a G4? Remove and replace G4.
Remove and replace G4, yeah. Well, once we got all the goose guts and feathers off of the thing, but yeah, but you can get parts like nothing. But now, right? The war is kind of almost non-existent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say in a specific case, let's just say your parts warehouse for the entire fleet that you work on, everything is made 4 hours away from where it's tested. And you might get it anytime between 8 a.m. and next Thursday. It's like the cable company telling you they're coming to your house. Yeah, between now and Thanksgiving.
It's funny you mentioned, we rise probably between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. someday.
And it's 4:30 in the afternoon. And you're like, well, I guess they're not showing up. So you decide to leave your house to go to the grocery store, and you come back to a note on the door. Hey, we tried reaching you, but nobody was home. You're like, son of a bitch! It's like you're waiting at the van at the end of the street, and you're like, and they're just like, oh, okay, he's leaving. Pull up, and they just put the note on the door. They have a bunch of pre-filled out notes, bloop, and they just head home.
Come back, come back. So here's one. When parts were good and it was blizzarding parts all the time. When it was just a monsoon of parts. I was in Iraq in about 2006, 2007 time frame, and we needed this one part that we thought we were never going to get. I can't remember what it was. I know it was critical. And it's like, man, we're in the middle of Bumsville, Iraq, this dusty ass place. Ain't no way in hell we're going to get parts. Right. So we did the due diligence. We ordered it. And then within 24 hours, here comes this giant truck of just this Mercedes semi truck Here's your part, sir. Like,
You talking like
whoa.
you talking like one of the jingle trucks? Remember the jingle trucks over there? They painted like in Iraq and Afghanistan. They had all the metal shit hanging from them, like they dangle around. They were
It's
all
all
painted
bedazzled,
crazy
like
colors.
a bedazzled semi truck. Yeah,
And they had the
man.
fancy horns. Like each horn played a different song.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's exactly it, right?
The
here,
jingle trucks, man.
so,
Yeah.
here comes right this bedazzled Mercedes semi truck comes in, right, and then boom, here's your part. Like, wow, brain confetti, brain confetti.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I got this.
Maybe Amazon should take a. Well, I don't know if I can say that, but maybe that service should take a note from the jingle trucks, man, because jingle trucks motto is "Come hell or high water, we'll get you your parts." The most blown out trucks you've ever seen in your life, and they still make it. Meanwhile, you can't get a 2020 Ford Transit fucking 10 miles.
Right. So make things a little more dark, right? So nowadays, right, like what MVP said, right, everything's dried up, either post-war or what have you. Stuff just doesn't get made anymore, right?
Yep.
Some of them went out of business, they're obsolete, whatever, right? So we used to have these drive shafts for helicopter tail rotors. So we used to have these tail rotor drive shafts. They were considered consumables, right? By consumables, we just, when they break, we just throw them away, like whatever, right? This 3 to 5 foot long drive shaft, just like, yeah, whatever.
What were they made out of? Were those titanium drive shafts, or were they?
You know what? I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it was made out of aluminum or something like that. Someone
It
smart.
had to be something super lightweight, but
Someone smart that's listening, comment on this thing. Tell me what it is. Anyway, so these things, we would just throw them away when they're bad. So this is when we get all creative and we start, you know what? Let's turn these things into beer mugs. Hell yeah. Right?
oh yeah, like the one on your desk.
Yeah, like the one
right
with
on.
this. So we would turn these things were junk by the time they're bad. So we would just make all kinds of crazy stuff, you know, sell it on eBay or at an air show or something, right?
Yeah.
But when they stopped making it, that's where we got to get real anal. We said, yo, this trash shaft's bad. And they're like, well, how bad is it?
Yeah, what? Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you start getting your superiors going. Yeah, but what? How severe is it? Like, well, I wouldn't fly in it
Right.
with it. Like, I don't want to fly with it.
Well, where in the book does it say you can't fly with it? It's got a twist in it.
Yeah, there's a visible twist in the drive shaft.
And not like a little twist. I'm talking like someone tried to wring this out like a bath towel ring.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah, it was
so
over torqued.
over torqued, over everything. Anyway, so a funny story about that, specifically with the drive shafts, is we do inspections on these like every 200 flight hours or whatever, and that's normally the time where we find these bad. So we're like, well, it's bad, chuck it into the dumpster, and then we get this phone call saying that, hey, do not throw anything away because they stopped making it. What we got is what we got. We just got to make do with it. And so here comes the big wig saying, hey, what y'all do with those drive shafts? Oh, dude, we tossed that shit like freaking days ago. It's probably getting crushed just like my dreams, you know? It's like, well, you get your ass over there, go find it. Like, oh, hell.
Like, you know, one of them Hajis took that shit and now I got to go down to the bazaar downtown Fallujah to find this shit again.
Right? This thing's probably like decorating somebody's garage or some shit, you know?
Yeah, they got it hung up as like a curtain rod. World's most expensive curtain rod.
Right. This
In a
freaking,
mud hut.
right? I don't know what kind of like curtain ring it would be. Probably like this 5-inch freaking curtain ring. All right. So, but going with
they probably just use some cholas freaking hoop earrings for those.
5 inches, like a hoop, like a freaking hula hoop.
Yeah.
You know she mad. I'll say this. You know she mad when she takes those off. You know.
Yeah. It's about to go down. Oh hell no.
Right.
Well, actually, it would be oh hell no. I'd be like, listen here, puta.
You know, like their level of trifling and pettiness by how big their hoop earring is. Is that relative?
I think so. I think it.
You know, so like the bigger the hoop earring, the more you'll get trifled with. You know.
Pretty much. You know, you. She'll give you a black eye just to let other bitches know that you don't fuck her around.
You know,
that kind of chick.
Right. You know, so that's kind of like the, you know, or the level of pettiness, right? The bigger the hoop earring, the bigger the pettiness.
Yep. All relative.
And then when you know when it comes out, like, oh shit.
Oh, son, I messed up.
Oh fuck. Anyways, so going back to what you were saying, man, is uh, parts get on a truck there, or they get on whatever the hell it is they're being delivered to, and in some cases they come somewhere not that far from you. Like probably like I could spit from where I'm standing to where the parts are at, but yet it takes all a damn day to get here.
Yeah, I could have walked there and back in the time that it took. You know what I mean?
Right. And I've offered something like that too. Like, hey man, I'll go pick it up my dang self. Oh no, you can't do that because it's there's a system in place. Like you're not qualified to pick up parts. Like, what?
But the system we have isn't working. I ordered the part at 6:30 in the morning and it's 3 in the afternoon. It's not that expensive. Like it's not. It's just a fastener. I just need a fastener.
on the flip side of that, there's some things that are just off the wall expensive for a washer, for a screw. I've seen one bolt once. It was probably like a 3/8, 1 inch long bolt, and it costed like $600. They're like, what the?
Was it one of those explosive bolts?
No, it was just a regular machine bolt. Like heck, I could have went to Home Depot and bought this for 99 cents, kind of thing.
Oh shit! So I know, like in the corporate side of things, like the engine mount bolts for like, what was it? A Citation Sovereign, a CE 680 is the model.
Yeah.
Those they're not that big either, but those are like those are like $600 to $800 a piece, and there's four per engine.
Yeah. So I'm like,
so it's like, holy
what
shit.
Are these made of, man? Are these made of like Gryffindor bones? Like, what is this? Like, we have to go to freaking Narnia to find this shit. What's going on?
They're made from the He Who Shall Not Be Named.
It's like Harry Potter ones. They gotta have shit in it for it to be special.
Oh yeah.
Is that really what it is? I don't know. I don't follow Harry Potter that well. I just know like when they touch the wand, it's like a kid, you give him a chocolate cake at 2:00 in the morning. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, you don't choose the bolts choose you. You got to walk through the warehouse with your hand going like over every box. Oh, there it is. That's the one for me.
That's the one where it chose me.
I need to scrap those bitches after a few thousand hours.
Right? And they're like, sorry, it's like a big breakup when they go bad, like, sorry.
It's not you, it's me.
Oh man. So, and then going back what you said, man, about a manifest, man, like I don't know how many times I've seen this happen from one company to the next, or even from one military unit to the next. It's like, oh, it's on the truck. Here's the printout of the manifest, see, look at that nomenclature, part number, NSN, all kinds of crazy shit, right? Like, we're going to statistically prove to you that it's on the truck.
Or how about this one, right? Here's another aspect for parts. Okay, I know that every 200 hours or whatever, I'm pulling a soap sample, right? A soap sample, and I know I'm going to be changing the filters, the oil filters. So they send you a pallet of oil filters and no O-rings. Now, most people would say, well, when you replace one, you got to replace the other. Now, as we've all done, we've all just reused the O-ring, inspected. All right.
What are you talking about?
Hopefully nobody from QA is listening.
I reused nothing. It was a joke. CIA, you heard me. I'm just kidding.
Mr. FBI agent. It was just a joke.
Just like, right, like all robotic. Like, I do not reuse parts.
I have never, nor will I ever reuse parts.
Right.
But anyway, so like kind of parts, they all get changed at the same time, but you have an overstock of this part and non-existent of the other.
Right.
And you even, like, when you put in the parts order, you put that in, but then you get people on the parts side back home going, well, I don't think they need that many O-rings. And so they choose, you put in the parts request, and then they go look at it and go, well, I don't think they need that many of this. So they send this of one and this of the other. And you're like, but I know what I need. I'm the one who's here. Like, who the fuck are you telling me what I need? I'm the one who put in the request. What I put the request in for is what I need. Right. And I'm projecting out 2 months in advance because I'm in a deployed location. And so I just want to make sure I have shit here for if and when, right? I don't want to be going on a week-to-week basis.
Right. Or like you get the ones where if it's not exactly how it says in the book, or it's not exactly how it says on their inventory system, they just can it. They just cancel it altogether.
Cancel it altogether. I'm like, they're like, well, is there? Or they respond to you, is there an alternate part number?
Alternate?
Well, I don't know, because the manual doesn't call for an alternate. Hopefully, you back there have the database that would show alternates. Right. I'm telling you what I need. You find it and give it to me.
Right. Or like, this says here 1. But the one in our inventory says 1A, so we don't carry those. It's the same damn thing.
It's the same stupid thing.
It's the same damn thing. Just give me my part, please. Please. I want to go home.
I hate it here. It's hot. It's windy. It's dusty. People are shooting at me. I don't want to be here no more.
I just want to fix it so I can go away.
Ooh, that's not how it works. No, or they call you and asking you like, "Well, is there alternates, or there's this and that? Is this and that?" Like, I don't know. I just want to go home. Just please, I just want to.
Right. So
it does what it's told at this point. It does what it's told.
Right. So some of the listeners out there, I mean, educate me. From what I understand is when I order a part A, B, or C, there's usually like an associated NSN or a NIN or some kind of way that for you all to track it, like, well, if this part goes obsolete, then this one's supposed to be replacing it or what have you. I don't heckin' know. For all I know is I throw numbers and words, and you guys pull it out of Narnia or wherever the hell it is it's at.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Is so many times you'll get your parts department. They're the biggest hindrance of the whole thing. Is they go, well, because it's not updated. Like we're not showing that in our system. We see that they're physically here, but in another database in another location, they haven't updated it to reflect this project number. So
right.
I'm not issuing you your parts. Get wrecked. Like, I need my parts to meet a mission. I don't give a shit what you have to do on your end in the background. That's a you problem. But don't hold up my parts. But time and time again, you're like, well, it's not updated in the database over there, so we can't do anything here. I'm like, but the part's physically here. They're like, yeah, it's right here in my hand. You're like, well, give it to me. No, I can't because it's not. You fix that on your side. That sounds like a you problem at this point. I just need to fix this bird to meet this mission tomorrow.
Right. So it kind of reminds me of like you're going through Walmart or something, and then you see like a giant pallet's worth of stuff. Like, oh, that's exactly what I need. And then there's this big fat sign that says "Do not issue" or "Not ready for inventory" or something like that. Like, but it's right there.
I can see it. I can
see it. It's right there. Please just give it to me.
I know.
No, sorry,
that's pretty much how the world is with toilet paper anymore, right?
Right. Yeah.
Costco, can I get 2 packs? No, you can only have 1. But I see there's like 60 pallets of it over there. They're all full. Can I have it just like 2 so I don't have to come back here as often?
Like, no. You understand, man. I drink coffee and I have 5 kids. You don't understand. God damn it.
My stress levels are through the roof.
Help.
I drink a pot of coffee and eat 6 hard-boiled eggs every morning. You don't understand the punishment that's about to ensue.
All right. So for the toilet paper thing, the solution is preserved food or MREs, I would say. Those will plug you up good. There should be an ad for that, matter of fact. It's like lack of toilet paper got you down, eat some MREs. They'll plug you up for 4 days at a time.
For weeks.
For weeks. And it's going to hurt like hell when it does. So just pooping out sandpaper, you know what I mean?
You're gonna regret it every step of the way.
You'll regret it going in and especially going out.
You need those power handles.
That's what I need. That's what we need. We need the like the dip bar pushing out us. Just to really get it out there.
You'll have Super Saiyan shits level over 9,000. Like Goku blood. Oh my God.
2 episodes of powering up. Ah!
It'll be 2 episodes long.
And then like the last 2 seconds of the final episode, blip, flush.
Oh, that was anticlimactic.
Like, well, what the hell, man? Half
the season was built up. Oh.
That's how it feels. half the wait time is just the buildup. Like, well, anytime it does get here.
And just so you know, all those people out there listening, you can expect a lot of this kind of conversation.
Right, but that's what it really feels like. Waiting for parts to show up is like waiting for the punch in Dragon Ball. He's like, okay, there's the build up. Whoop, he's getting stronger, still getting stronger. What the hell? And then it finally, like 2 seconds, like, well, that sucked.
Or you come into the ship, hey, is that part showed up yet? Yeah, it showed up 3 days ago. Well, where the fuck's it been?
Well,
it fell into the abyss. You know what I mean? And like,
when the hell are you going to tell me?
It went into the warehouse, and then the warehouse people forgot to mark it in the system and everything else. I'm like, well, is there some sort of repercussion for that? Because I've had to cancel this mission. We've wasted a lot of money trying to get this ship prepped and ready every single day when we've been waiting on this part. You know, I'm like, does it come out of their budget? Did I get compensated out of their budget? Like, no, it's you just get one of those like, sorry, you know.
And then you got to report the flight as canceled for operations or maintenance, but
aggressive
never once,
schedule,
but never once you hear it getting canceled for supply. It's your fault. It took you 6 days to get here.
Yeah, I said I didn't want to put it on the schedule, and I got overridden. Why is it my fault that it got canceled? Well, you knew we didn't have parts, which is why I've said every single day to not put it on the schedule. Well, that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
Other conversation.
So to make up for a lack of parts is we do this fancy magical ritual, which we like to call cannibalization.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For those of you, it's exactly as it sounds. I'm literally eating another freaking aircraft so I can make one semi-decent, right?
Yep. And usually it happens so much that you always have one aircraft sitting in that far dark corner of the hangar. You know, like the Shadowlands where Simba's dad tells him that we should never go there. That one aircraft that's been over there for 3 years that keeps every time it gets a part in to fix it, it gets stolen again to make another one go.
Absolutely. It's just like there's an elephant graveyard of broken parts or broken aircraft or broken
parts and broken dreams.
It's like just hanging there all zombied out because it's just being a parts bitch for everybody else.
Pretty much.
Now, I've done this before where I cannibalized parts from one plane and I cannibalized the same part from one plane from plane B to plane C, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So much so that the cannibalized part made its way back to the original aircraft that it came from.
Yeah, I've done that too. You're like, man, this serial number seems familiar because you've dealt with it so much, because you've changed it so many times. You're like, the fuck am I? Oh, God, it's back to its original configuration.
Yeah. See, look at it. We're fixing it. That's exactly what we're doing. Right? Now for
musical fucking parts.
Right? Now, for everyone who has been in a control or a control format, whatever you guys call it, production supervisor or whatever, production superintendents, production control, maintenance control, whatever. Coordinators, foremen, maintenance foremen, right? There's one, the cannibalization thing is like this magic wand that big wigs think that's just going to magically fix everything. You know, like, well, control, just cannibalize it. Like, okay, woo-hoo. I can, you can, we all can. Yeah. Everyone do the can. And it's literally musical parts. You know, yeah. Imagine all we need is just a song, and then it just goes around from one plane to another until the music stops.
Yep, goes like that until they all break.
Yep.
Or you get a rash of the parts you've been waiting 6 months for.
Right. So,
or how about when parts have a lead time? Hey, we put in a PRTS. Yeah, that one's got a lead time out till the middle of next year.
Oh, hell. Right. Oh, your parts acquisition is on back order till like 2075. What? Literally, no bullshit.
I don't think I'll be alive at that time, so I guess I won't care. But
I literally seen that happen once, man. It was like your parts acquisition is on back order till 20. Okay, it wasn't 2075. It was more like 2035 or something like that. But this was 2006. Yeah. This was 2016 at the time. So, like, wait a minute, what? I can't wait that long.
6, have you ever had brand new parts show up with a red tag?
Ooh, what's this red tag you speak of?
It means non-conformance. It means the part's dicked, not to be used for flight. It's got to go through depot level repairs for maintenance for repairs or scrapped altogether. But somehow somebody in the warehouse was like, they need this part, and Maybe they're colorblind. Maybe that's the thing. They're just like, well, there's a tag, and to me it's gray. So, and they throw it on the truck, and the jingle truck delivers it. But it's got a red tag, and you're like, I waited 6 weeks for this part, only to be told that it's bad.
Matter of fact, I have seen something to that effect, and when I get it, I sometimes think like, are they just fucking with me? Is
this a joke? Like they got the actual real part behind their back? Like, here you go.
Just kidding. Here you go. I'm just kidding. This red tag's made out of fondant. Happy birthday.
You can literally eat this red tag. Yeah, man. Or they show up with no parts tag at all. So it's it's neither good nor bad. It's Schrodinger's part,
Yeah.
It's either good or bad until you open it up.
No, I've seen one where someone has taken apart to that exact extent, right? We know it's screwed up, we know it doesn't work, but the guy receiving it just like, yep, there it is. Doesn't look at it, nothing. Just like, yep, that's it, and then hangs it and then puts it on the plane, right? Thinking all is well with life. Doesn't check it for functionality, doesn't check it for security, nothing. He's just like, it's in there, sign it off, guys. And then it goes for that one turn. Fuck.
Yeah.
What happened?
Or the one shift, right? The one shift installs the bad part without looking at it. And then the next shift coming on, like, hey guys, we got the part in, we installed it. It just needs the ops check. Cool. The guy goes out there like, all right, I'm going to start it up. And you stand there and look at it and make sure there's no leaks. And the guy's standing there all proud. All right, turn it over to poof, hydro fluid into the face. Like, God damn it. So that guy goes back and starts researching the parts and realizes it was fucking bad from stock. Like,
I'm going to take your job.
That's how murders happen. That's how straight murders happen.
I'm going to take your job. Quality's freaking is like...
Once the schedule stops burning, of course, I'm going to take your job.
We can bring confetti everywhere. Everybody's had consecutively like some New Year's Eve party. Bring confetti.
I know that shit just it, and you wonder why. You wonder how it gets to that point. Like, I understand a lot of people working in warehouses probably aren't of the aviation maintenance background. They're just people filling their job, right? You don't have to be a maintenance. You don't have to be an aircraft specialist to know how to take a part and put a shipping label on and put it whatever. But you should have enough knowledge of the job to know that green means good, red means bad. You know what I mean? Or sometimes they're yellow tags, whatever. You know what I mean? But it's still like enough because you got people depending on that to get there's a mission out there, a greater mission somewhere out there that needs that part to get completed, and you just hosed it by sending them a shit part right away. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
So now you got to start the whole process over again. Let me put in their parts request number. And then wait for it to get approved. And then somebody go, I thought we just sent that part. What the hell happened? Well, it had a red tag. Well, who the hell sent a part with a red tag? That's what we're asking ourselves up here, goddammit. Just send me another part.
Just give it to me.
Just give it to me now.
That was our only one. Like, you got to be shitting me, man. Send that shit back to Depot or whatever the hell. Tell them to fix it.
or how about this? You've been waiting weeks to get a part. And you're like, hey, it's going to be up here tonight. And then an hour before it's supposed to arrive, oh, hey, guys, we had to divert that part for a higher priority mission in another location.
Oh, my God. All the time. All the time. I can
that's
imagine.
That's when you hear the song, Everybody Hurts Sometimes.
Everybody hurts. our shitty karaoke impression, you know? But I know exactly how you feel. And then this is what drives the cannibalization of things, right? This is like maintenance control or production control or whatever this is like their favorite thing to do because of the lack of parts. You know, that, oh, well, I guess we ain't getting it till 2075. Take it off from that plane. But Sarge.
Or how about this, right? So you got people in the programs, right? And their job is to make sure that project gets going, right? You're just there to, as a controller, you're there to see day to day and make sure it gets done. And every day you come in, you're like, hey, can I get an updated status on this part? We're waiting on somebody at this location to respond. Okay. All right. So you let it go 3 days, 4 days, whatever. And eventually like, hey, can I get a real status update? Well, I'm still waiting for somebody to email back. Can you call? Can I have their number? Can I call them? If you're not going to call them, like I need a real status. Like, what the hell are we still waiting on down there?
Right. And then you find,
like, they're waiting budget constraints or whatever. Or that part, right? We have the part in stock, but it's allocated for a project under this, it's allocated under a different budget, and we have to do all the paperwork, shuffle it around to get it over to this project, you know, and you're like, okay, well, has anybody started that? We're waiting for the other program to say if they're going to start the paperwork so they can allocate it to ours. You're like, oh my God. Like, can I whittle one out of wood at this point? Like, do you think?
Can we 3D print this thing? Damn, 3D print has come a long way. I'm sure we can do it.
Yeah, it makes it. So then, like you said, you go back to the musical cannibalization.
Right.
Like, all right, I'll take it off of there. And then you take it off of that, and then that person on that program's like, hey, what the hell? You took it from my part. Your plan ain't done shit in 6 months. Like, it's not going to miss it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, they're talking about doing testing in 3 more months. Cool. Well, we put in a PRT, or we put in a parts request for that. Hopefully you get it in time. Bye.
Or so funny cannibalization story. This happened in 2016. I was in Australia at the time, and we had a Huey that needed to have its main rotor gearbox replaced. This thing's freaking heavy. It's huge and it's heavy, right? And normally the ideal situation would be to have it under a crane or a hoist, you know, that goes straight up, straight down, perpendicular to the main rotor gearbox, right? We didn't have none of that. And we had one, but it wasn't tall enough, right? It was just, no, here's the hook and here's the part. There's like no up or down at that point. Right. Anyway, so we had to make do, which is what all maintainers have to do, is make do. We brought this I guess you could call I guess you could call it a T-Rex.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The big overhead cranes.
Yeah, it's like the drivable over.
But like moving the ones that move shipping containers, that size of one.
Yeah, you know, it's like maybe as tall as the plane, right? Maybe, which is probably
they're big machines for sure,
right? But see, the problem, so we decided, you know, whatever, just get this T-Rex in there. Let's try to do what we can do and make do. The problem is the way the crane came up, it doesn't pull straight up and down. It pulls like away. It pulls away from the aircraft, right? So the whole time we're trying to pull this gearbox out. This thing's long and heavy. It's about almost as long as the aircraft itself. And the whole time we're just like, God damn it. If something freaking breaks, we're so going to be fucked, right? Luckily, and we almost did break it. Because of the way it was pulling out. But we managed to get it off. Nobody died, thankfully. And we just managed to kind of sort of damage the bad one. But like, whatever, it's broken. Who gives a shit, right? And then the sketchy part was putting the new one in. And the whole time we're just like biting our fingernails like, oh my God, please, I need this. Yeah. Please don't break.
I know.
Long story short, moment of victory. We got it in. Everything works fine. And we're great. It's just one of those things where when you cannibalize things, you run into the mix of damaging the new old shit to fix the broken one. Yep.
Yeah, you always run that risk. Same like doing engine change, right, on turboprops, which I've done before. You know, you got to take the prop off to get the engine off, but the prop's not high time with the engine. It got out of sync with some other evolution,
right?
Other maintenance evolution. But you go to take the prop off, but you forgot to take your beta tube out with it. So you damage the beta tube and damage then the engine and the prop in the process. So now you've fucked 3 different things up, and now you're waiting for 3 different very expensive things.
Right.
And you're never going to get them.
Right. So I want to go in a little bit. So cannibalization is maintenance control's favorite word. I'm going to go into what we call dirty cans, right? This is a senior maintenance controller's favorite thing because no one of any big wig reporting likes to hear the word cannibalization for some reason or another. It's like taboo for them.
Yeah, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Right. So in the Marines, at least, they come up with this term called dirty canning, right? And it sounds way better than what it implies. But basically what dirty canning is we're not actually authorizing someone to cannibalize. We're saying that we're just removing to reinstall later.
Yeah.
So, or what they call it, remove for use, right? So we take it from the plane that we want to take it away from, saying, okay, remove, reinstall later. And then we have the aircraft that it's actually going to says remove and remove, reinstall later. And then we just flip-flop the serial numbers and then off it goes. Hey, how'd you guys get that broken plate to work again? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I've been there where they're like, wait a minute. I thought yesterday we had this big roadblock in the way and we couldn't get this thing done. What'd you guys do? And you're just looking at your leadership going, we made it work. And they're like, that sounds like it was against regulations in the manual. Well, just know that it met the mission on time and everybody's happy at this point.
Right.
And they kind of like, you got to get that stare going at one another. You squinted eyes, and there's like, all right. Like they don't want to ask any more questions because ignorance is bliss. They can claim ignorance at that point, and you're just like, just know that we met the mission.
That's when you start becoming the Jedi mind tricks. Like, you did not see anything.
Yeah. These aren't the parts you're looking for.
Right. Woosah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, so then you have to do, and you're like, well, hey, I thought we were waiting all these parts. What happened? How did you guys get it to fix? We found the parts. Where'd you find the parts at? Well, you're not going to like to hear the pockets of my overalls, so somewhere. Which brings you to the secret stash, which every maintainer has.
Absolutely.
Be it in their desk drawer, their pockets, their toolbox.
Absolutely.
Under a rock, they got a secret part stash of things that, and normally it's common items that get changed a lot. Fasteners on, cowlings or specific panels you're always removing for whatever inspections. A lot of O-rings. There's a lot of O-rings because oftentimes people, and I do it, still do it, order way more than what you need.
Right.
Especially if you like at one job, I did a lot of engine work. We were constantly doing engine changes, hot sections, borescope. So you're always looking for those small titanium, the 12-point machine screws and the applicable nuts and washers. So I always had a grip of those. I had so many at one point that I could have probably put together a whole engine just off of the extras that I had.
Heck yeah.
In the hardware.
Heck yeah. Now, and I'm going to say this. Having those extra parts is 100% illegal. It's 120%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's unaccounted for, non-tracked, non-traceable items that somehow make planes fly still.
Right. That's like the back when marijuana was illegal. That was like the marijuana to maintainers, or the meth. It's like, this will get you the fix, and you will get it good.
And in some instances, it also is viable as currency.
Yes, absolutely. And and I've done stuff like that too. Like every service, you guys got to be lying if you said you never had extra parts. Some of you guys actually had names for that secret stash of stuff. Marines call it the PEB. Air Force calls it like their parks extra. Like their stock items, I guess. Stock items. Yep.
We called it at one location. We called it the tackle box.
Because
we literally had a fishing tackle box with all the different compartments in there. We had different parts, like all labeled. It was really nice looking, but it was like a tackle box. It was a legit tackle box.
And we've had that too, right? Well, ours is kind of like these little, what do you call them? Like clamshells, Like it's kind of like a tackle box, but it opens sideways and it has like a whole bunch of drawers in it.
Oh, okay. I've seen the ones where it splits like down the center and it opens to the side like that. So it's got three tiers and then down the deep part in the center.
Yeah, stuff like that, right? So just let you know, this is 100% illegal. Cannot do that. But we do it anyway because, again, if you don't have the parts you need when you need it, which just goes into what MVP was saying is you order a shitload more than what you need because you're not going to get it anytime soon when you need it. So it says, the manual says calls out for 10 bolts. I'm going to order 100 of them because...
Or whatever the max allowable is that won't raise questions.
Right. Right. Or sometimes, when you're doing the maintenance, these things break very easy, right? Like these certain bolts that round off if you torque them too tight, or these key inserts or helicoils, if you tighten them down too much, they'll snap or whatever.
Yeah, or carbon seals, whatever. Yeah. Yeah,
and that eliminates the use of having to reuse packings or reuse O-rings or seals, which is totally illegal. Do not do that. But we've all done it. There were times, man, we ran out of O-rings, so I ended up having to use RTV. I just kind of
Oh yeah.
I just like glop it on like toothpaste and just smash it down really quick so it forms before it dries.
Before it dries, yeah. I mean, we've all had to do that, and dire times, right? But then you forget about it, right? Because say it's a several $1,000 item, so it does its life cycle, and you go to take that bitch apart, and you're sitting there cursing like a motherfucker. Fuck this guy who put this RTV on here, son of a bitch, instead of the O-ring. And it was you the whole time. You're like, God damn, I'm trying to rip it all apart, playing off.
Damn you past me. But you also think that to yourself, right? Like, fuck it, man, got to make it work. This corporate jet needs to fly, so you RTV it down or whatever quickie fix maintenance you have to do. Yeah. And then the next person like, what the fuck?
So in the corporate side of things, we also had call them flyaway boxes, which was like a fishing tackle box in the back, right? And they had parts tags in them, and they had be a lot of light bulbs, right? Because you could burn light bulbs out as that jet's traveling around, so you got to change those out. It might be like static wicks, or it might be some screws, some for like certain panels. It might be like in those interior stuff, to like gold plated for like the interior for the customer, right? You want to keep the interior stuff looking nice. But mostly it was just a lot of light bulbs, both interior, exterior, a couple of screws for some panels, static wicks, things like you might run into on the road.
Right.
So in those, right, so you would, if you showed up to a plane, like, oh, this bulb's burnt out and I don't have any bulbs, let me go check the flyaway kit and see if I got a replacement in there. Say, okay, cool. You take that bulb out of that, mark it out of the kit. You'd submit all your paperwork with the parts tag to control for return to service for flight. Mm-hmm. And then you'd put in a parts request for that specific tail number aircraft to replenish that stock. So, and the same thing, like you said before, you'd order more than what you needed. So if I used one bulb, I ordered 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just so there'd be, if it burned it out, you're good for at least 4 more times whenever that happens. And did you guys have those in the military? Does some of the military side, those aircraft have flyaway? I don't know for the Air Force guys, like some of the heavies carried that stuff around. I would imagine they would. Helos may be a different story since they're a much smaller platform, but I would have to think for some big heavy, they would have to have.
There's certain items that we would have in a quote unquote flyaway box. They would have their own serial number cards. They'll have their own high time sheets, and every info you could have on the card. And there's certain things we're allowed to have, right? But you're not allowed. You can't just have a whole ass engine in your back shop,
Oh, but, no, of course.
But I mean, not to say that we didn't have one.
Right. Yeah, you could piecemeal one together.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we had our secret stash had so much of one thing. We were able literally to build a whole new ass engine, and that's actually one of the funniest things I've had is we had a secret stash or a PEB that had certain items that we weren't supposed to have, or you weren't supposed to have too much of. But again, it goes back to you got to have it because you're not going to get it.
Right.
Yeah. What was like the craziest thing you've had in your secret stash? Like you should, if you were caught having this, you would totally go to jail.
Oh man. I think it was like I'll have to think about this for a minute.
Don't think too hard, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like a thermostat of some type, like an engine control, like thermostat or a PC. Oh no, it was a PCV valve. Yeah, those are serialized parts for the on certain engines, and they're very expensive. So for you to just have one out there floating around unaccounted for is a
big no-no.
Shitty.
You will go to jail. Abort mission now.
Yeah. I don't know if you go to jail. I don't know if you go to jail, but you'd be getting some serious shit because you would be looked at as like you were stealing from the entity that made that. And like, why are you holding? Because in the corporate side of things, and why that's looked at that way is because in the corporate side of things, there's a big problem with. So, like, let's say I replace a fuel control, right? Now, this platform of whatever specific corporate jet is all over the world, but there's a big problem with guys taking off high-time components and then sending them to Central and South America to jets down there and selling them for double the price. But down there, it's really hard for them to get those parts. And so there's a kind of a black market tie with that. So that's why you would you might get thrown in jail because you would go under serious investigation. Because they would have to look at your contacts and be like, have you sold anybody to anything, down in South America? Like I've had to do that before. I've had to get questions and everything like that. So yeah, that's pretty bad.
Crazy. So any listeners out there, tell us what was some of the most off the wall secrets items you had in your secret stash, let us know in the comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, put it in the comments below because I guarantee you there's some stuff.
Now, so to tie things together, man, things will happen, things will break, and there's going to be a moment where you're going to have to replace a part or two or more, and some of these things you can foresee, like we know this thing we're going to have to change out once in a while or every so often, so you try to order it ahead of time, which is what it is on that point. But sometimes you have to it's critical, and this doesn't break, this almost never breaks unless something major happens, like like a prop strike or a engine fought it out or something. And then for those guys who are parts people, man, like I know the system sucks, and I know there's things that you guys got to fight for. I mean, I don't know what it's like in the background for you. Please let us know. Let us know, like, what's it like for you guys when we throw in a request? Like, oh fuck, these stupid ass maintainers, they know what the hell they're asking for. This, that, and the other.
I'm sure there's probably discrepancies with them. Like, half the time the parts request wasn't filled out in its entirety, and so there's a lot of guesswork we have to do or a lot of research we have to do. So if they had filled out everything completely the first time, it wouldn't be so hard. I get that. We've all seen the logbooks, and it's deplorable. So I can only imagine what the parts requests look like. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there's a struggle with it, but by the same token, it's got to be. I don't know. Yeah, let us know. Let us know what your trials and tribulations are to get me parts. Because all I know is I put in the request, and you haven't done your shit. You know what I mean?
Things got to get ironed out. We understand, man. Things got to work its way out. But if both fans can accommodate each other and make things happen, we can do what we need to do to make the magic happen and put these planes in the air, and everything works great. I mean, it's already a hassle enough that people don't know what goes into making things defy gravity and go into the air and whatnot. So,
well, like helicopters, I think defy physics in their flight, right? Essentially.
I mean, I would think so, because, like, how do I fly? By spinning around really fast. Closing remarks, MVP for closing. What do you got?
Closing remarks. Things break. Need parts. I put in the request. I get parts. Sometimes it don't happen. There's a lot of shit to go through. I get it. Red tape, whatever else. But ultimately, parts are what make things fly.
Yep.
And we need them.
Yep. And I could say
parts put together in a specific orientation. I'm jamming these two together. It's not working.
Two magnets don't make good.
Two wrongs don't make it right, but three rights make a left. I don't get it.
Yeah. And I'm probably gonna piss off every maintainer when I say this, but things really don't fly without supply. That's just hands down. So I mean, supply dudes really help us out. Do what you guys got to do. We'll try to do it on our end. And
fill out your paperwork. You lazy pieces of shit. But being lazy.
Help us make magic happen.